So today I want to tune into something I call Cancel Robert Downey Jr., starring every crazy Puritan out there that you can find. Hey there. So apparently every actor ends up in the crosshairs of cancel culture, and Robert Downey Jr. is no exception. See, despite the fact that Robert Downey Jr. is a success story, rebounding after there was failure and recently being picked up by Disney, apparently the role that he's playing here, it has terrible, terrible connotations. What's crazy about this is Disney, they kind of get a pass because they've quote-unquote had great success translating fantasy stories into live actions. But Robert Downey Jr., oh no, he doesn't. See, now Universal's latest attempt at a live-action fantasy blockbuster is Doolittle. It's going to star him as Dr. Doolittle, and although the trailers for the film seem harmless enough, viewers might be surprised to learn that the character of Dr. Doolittle has surprisingly origins. That's right. Dun dun dun. Its origins are tainted. Now, what's astounding about this is that people are being offended by 100-year-old tale because there's a prince in it that wants to get with Sleeping Beauty, and to get that, well, he needs to become a lighter shade of pale. He decides to bleach his skin, and oh my God, you can be offended by that as much as you want. See, they tell you in this that the Doolittle series, it began a century ago when British author Hugo Lofting published the story of Dr. Doolittle, 1920. Book, it was a success. It led to several sequels, and one of the sequels, one of the most popular, The Voyages of Dr. Doolittle, won a Newbery Medal. Now, this is apparently what the Robert Downey Jr. version is based on. Now, beloved at the time, they say, the book has become infamous in years since. This is a book that will live in infamy. In keeping with 1920s British attitudes, the content of the book is very toward, well, you can see who there. The portrayal of Prince Bumbo, it's particularly unsettling. As they tell you in here, Bumbo wanted to become, well, that lighter shade of pale so that Sleeping Beauty, the beloved fairy tale princess, would be willing to marry him. Dr. Doolittle, he reluctantly agrees to help Bumbo change his color by bleaching his skin. I mean, wow, what a mess there. What a mess indeed. People wouldn't do that in this day and age, would they? Oh, wait, yeah, they would. What's particularly telling is that all of this offense that's being talked about here, yeah, it actually doesn't matter when it comes to movies or even modern depictions of this book. Now, what's astounding about this is that the book, in the form that they're complaining about, it really doesn't exist in modern day. I mean, you have a 1980s reissue of that removes all types of things, as this tells you. Such a story is utterly abhorrent to modern sensibilities. Even the publisher of the Doolittle books are aware of how they've aged horribly in regard to these type of issues. The New York Times reported a 1980s reissue of the book removed those type of epithets, offensive illustrations of specific characters because, again, of the color of their skin or because of the way that they are depicted. And if you're familiar with the Doolittle books, there's a good chance you were exposed to these sanitized editions rather than the originals. So, if you've read them before, you probably aren't even aware that these issues exist. But of course, we have to go out and we have to cancel Robert Downey Jr. What's more, do we go back and cancel Eddie Murphy, for example, because he played Dr. Doolittle too? And I mean, when you look at that character there, well, if we're complaining about Prince Bumbo, there seems to be an issue with him. What's that? Can't quite lock in on it. But here's part of an article discussing that. Has the uncomfortable history of Dr. Doolittle dulled the character's popularity? No. All Movies reports that, in a dramatic and subversive twist of fate, a black actor, Eddie Murphy, took on the role of the Doctor in the 1988 film. Unlike earlier Doolittle stories, the movie was set in contemporary times, letting go of the baggage that it had from the original series' Victorian setting. So we don't have to cancel Eddie Murphy in that. We don't have to get him, but we need to cancel Robert Downey Jr. Gotcha there. Gotcha. Now, what's hilarious about this is that these places, they know that you would never have the original content in it. There would be no way, shape, or form that a company would put that out there, and there would be no way that Robert Downey Jr. would sound off on it. And yet, here you have them talking about this latest iteration. It's going to go out and deviate from the predecessor, starring Eddie Murphy, and it's going to be set in the Victorian era. You notice how this ends here, too. This could lead to controversy in the unlikely event it stays true to the original Doolittle books. I mean, do you think there is a chance that it would ever do that? No way, shape, or form. And yet these folks, they're out there trying to cancel Robert Downey Jr. Now, in closing, I think this is the real reason why they want to shut this down. Because, I mean, listen to this in Entertainment Weekly. Director and co-writer Stephen Gahan Siriana believes Dr. Dolittle is very much a hero for our times. I came across this script that Tom Shepard had written for Dolittle, and I was just like, God, this is such a good idea. I felt myself living at a time where everyone just seemed to be screaming at each other across the aisle. I was like, here's a superhero, if you will, whose superpower is listening. The superhero's superpower is empathy, and I thought that'd be a great character to have today. So a character that, well, doesn't meet a certain demographic that they would like, in fact, reverted back to an older demographic whose superpower is empathy and listening instead of sitting around and screaming at other people. Can you imagine that in this day and age? There are a lot of people out there that apparently can't. And again, at the end of it, what that ends up saying is cancel Robert Downey Jr. Now, I don't like that idea. I hope you don't either. And we need to fight this stuff. So if you're with me, boom, let's keep fighting it every day. So I want to thank you, ending this, for showing up and participating. You make this stuff possible. Don't want to waste a lot of time except to say you like this, sub to it. Make sure you share it. And of course, spend time watching all of it all the way through. It definitely helps out the videos. I can't say enough to thank you again. And we'll do this again soon. Thank you.